There's a test you can run on your AI product tonight. It takes 30 seconds. Imagine a competitor getting screenshot of your entire prompt library. Every system prompt, every chain, every clever little trick you're proud of. How much of your business did they just steal? If the answer is most of it, you don't have a company. You have a very expensive UI on the top of somebody else's model. I've spent the last 2 years shipping agent infrastructure and watching a lot of AI products get quietly deleted by a single OpenAI changelog entry. So this video is not wrappers are bad, go build a moat. That's a useless advice. Everyone says it, nobody defines it. Instead, I'm going to give you a rank stack, 6 layers of defensibility, copyable in an afternoon or copyable in 3 years. Then a 4-question audit you can run your own product before you close this tab. Let's go. First, correct the diagnosis. Rappers don't die because the model gets smarter. They die because platform ships their features as a checkbox. Every model company has the same roadmap. Absorb the thin layer, document chat, web research, code execution, canvas style editing. Every one of those shipped as native feature, and every one of them took a graveyard of startups with it. The pattern isn't competition, it's absorption. You're not fighting a rival. You are standing inside your own supplier's roadmap. And here's the uncomfortable part. They don't need to be better than you. They need to be good enough and already installed. Now, quick honesty break, because most videos on this topic are dishonest. Being a rapper at the start is completely fine. Almost every good AI product started as a rapper. Thin layer, fast to ship, finds out whether anyone cares. That's a wedge, and wedges are how you earn the right to build something deeper. The failure mode isn't starting thin, the failure mode is staying thin. 18 months in, still shipping prompt tweaks, still calling your prompt library IP. So the real question isn't, am I a rapper? It's what I am accumulating while I'm one. Here's the stack, 6 layers. The number next to each is roughly how long it takes a well funded competitor to replicate it. Layer 1, prompts, 0. Layer 2, model choice, 0. Layer 3, interface and taste, weeks. Layer 4, workflow depth, months. Layer 5, evaluations and outcomes data, quarters. Layer 6, system of record position. Most teams spend 90% of their energy on layers 1 through 3. That's the whole problem. Let's do the ones that matter. Layer 4, workflow depth. A rapper answers a question, a product completes a job. The difference is where you sit in the sequence. If your product is one stop on a 10-step process, the user is happy to swap you out. If your product is steps 3 through 9, pulling from their CRM, applying their approval rules, writing back to the ledger, generating an audit trail, swapping you means rebuilding a business process, not changing a vendor. This is why the boring verticals are winning. Legal review, claims processing, medical coding, not because the AI is fancier, because the last mile is full of ugly, unglamorous, domain specific rules that take a year of customer conversations to even learn. Generic tools have to serve everyone. You get to be aggressively specific. That specificity is the moat, and it's the one thing the platform will never build because it doesn't scale for them. Layer 5 is most underrated thing in the entire industry, so pay attention here. Your moat is your evaluation set. Think about what an eval set actually is. It's a collection of real tasks from your real domain with real labels on what correct looks like, assembled from each failure you've eaten in production, every angry customer email, every edge case nobody could have predicted from a whiteboard. You cannot buy that. You cannot scrape it. You cannot prompt your way to it. It only exists as a byproduct of having operated. And it compounds in a very specific way. When a new model drops, the team with 4,000 domain specific test cases knows within an hour whether to switch. The team without them spends 3 weeks vibing, ships a regression, and loses a customer. Same models, same API, wildly different velocity. That gap is defensibility. So if you take one action item from this video, start writing down your failures today. Every one. With the input, the bad output, and what good would have looked like. That file is the most valuable asset you will build this year. Now let's talk about proprietary data flywheel, because it's the most abused phrase in AI pitch decks and it's usually a lie. Here's the lie. Every user interaction makes a product smarter. No, it doesn't. You're storing logs. Logs are not a flywheel. 95% of user interaction data is noise. you'll never look at, sitting in a table costing you money. Three things actually compound, only three. One, outcome labels. Not what user typed, what they did with your output. Accepted it, edited it, and here's the diff. Rejected it. That accept, edit, reject signal is gold because it's free human label on every generation. Most products throw it away, instrument it. Two, rare cases. The weird stuff, the 1 in 10,000 input that breaks everything. Volume doesn't get you these, time and market does, which is exactly why an incumbent can't shortcut it with capital. 3. Data tied to money. A signal that connects an output to a dollar outcome, a closed deal, a prevented loss, an approved claim. That's the data that lets you make a claim your competitor literally cannot make in a sales call. If your flywheel isn't one of these three, it's a database. Layer 6, top of the stack. This is the one that actually lasts. Move from reading your customer's data to holding it. Read access makes you a tool, write access makes you an infrastructure. And when the state that your customer team depends on, the records, the history, the approvals, the decisions, and why they were made lives inside your product, you stopped being a subscription, you're now load bearing. The test is brutal and simple. If your customer cancels on Monday, what stops working? If the answer is we go back to doing it manually, you're just a nice to have with a countdown timer on it. If the answer is nobody knows the current state of anything and we can't close the month, congratulations, you have a moat and you can raise prices. One quick technical note, because this is where I actually spend my days. Custom orchestration gets thrown around like it means writing longer prompts. It doesn't. Orchestration defensibility is everything you build around the model called routing cheap tasks to cheap models, verification layers that catch bad outputs before the user sees them, deterministic fallbacks when the model is wrong, retry policies, human checkpoints at exactly the right steps, and cost controls that let you charge a flat fee without going bankrupt. None of that lives in a prompt. All of it lives in a code you own, and is the reason two teams using the identical model deliver products that feel generation apart. Okay, run this on your own product right now. 4 questions, be honest, nobody's watching. 1. If a competitor saw all your prompts, what percentage of value did they just take? Over 50? You are at layer 1. 2. What will you know on day 400 that you cannot buy on day 1? If you can't answer in a sentence, you have no accumulation. 3. Does your product measurably improve the customer A because customer B used it? If not, you don't have a flywheel, and that's survivable, but stop saying you do. 4. If your best customer rips you on Monday morning, what breaks? Name the specific thing. They would be sad is not a thing. 4 yeses and you are building something durable. 0 yeses and you're renting a business from a company that can end it in a change log. 3 things you can start this week. Small, unglamorous, high leverage. 1. Create your own failure log, every bad output with input and expected output. 30 entries by Friday, this becomes your eval set. 2. Instrument accept, edit, reject on every single generation. If you're not capturing the edit difference, you are throwing away free labels. 3. Pick one integration that turns you from read only into write access and scope it. 1. The one that makes you load bearing. None of that is a rewrite, all of it starts the compounding. The models are going to keep getting better and cheaper and more available to everyone, including your competitors. That's the only one thing you can bet on, which means the intelligence is never the moat, the intelligence is the commodity. What you build around it, the specificity, the failure history, the position in the workflow, that is the asset. Stop renting the whole business, rent the intelligence, own everything else. If you want the next one, I'm doing a full teardown of evaluation harness I'd build on day 1 for a new AI product. That actual file structure, not the theory. Subscribe so it finds you. And tell me in the comments which of the 4 questions you failed. I'll pick the interesting ones and go deeper. See you in the next one.